I did not have a lesbian scene type of life. Only if you think that being on a women's basketball team, if that's the lesbian experience, then that's me.
Yes, she did. She had more of a social life than I did.
I didn't have a social life. Really, I didn't. But before we continue, if you don't know who we are Pam and Kelly, and I am Pam.
And I'm Kelly.
But as far as a lesbian social life, okay, look at this. It depends on what phase of life we're talking about. So I'm going to fast forward. Whatever kind of social life in high school and all that kind of stuff would have been sports related because, I was the jock. And then when you go on to college, once again, I was on the basketball team. I did have that 1 year as a walk-on. I did walk on my sophomore year at college. But hanging out with the basketball team. But other than that, I really did not have a social life. I kept my behind in my dorm. First thing you know, I went to a PWI. If you don't know what that is, as a predominantly white institution. I like to dance. And my roommates weren't dancing. They were going out and going to those places where you just stood there and drank. And that wasn't fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
why do you think I had social life?
Because she tells me these stories. Because I didn't really have any social life at all, lesbian or otherwise. Because I don't know. I guess I'm a nerd. I had a social semester my senior year in college. Second semester, my roommates and I, we had a little stint for maybe a couple of months, or maybe even a social semester might be stretching it. More like a social month leading up to graduation.
But even as in the sorority, you didn't socialize? What was that?
A little bit.
I wasn't in a sorority.
There's only so much you can do. Look, I grew up in not in mid-Missouri, but I grew up in Missouri. I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in St. Louis, but I went to college in mid-Missouri. And there's just only so much you can do in Fulton, Missouri. You can't. I mean, the biggest thing that opened was Walmart when I was in college. It was a big old thing. Everybody's talking about it. Are you going to go to Super Walmart? Have you been? They were talking about it like it was the club.
Which is odd.
Yes. But so I didn't have much of a social anything. I'm socially awkward. Then I went to graduate school with more socially awkward people. So still in Central Missouri, so this is not getting better.
Right.
So when I hear from her about any kind of like party, that sounds like that might have been a social event to me.
Okay, so I'm from New Jersey. And if you're from Jersey, you put your proximity of where you're located. South Jersey, the shore, Central Jersey, and I don't even know what they say for the northern part because I really don't hang out there other than to go into Manhattan. So what ended up happening for me, especially when we met, I have been for 30 years of my life working in Manhattan. So she thought when we first met that I was this city slicker who did all these things. But once again, I'm going to tell you, I didn't really have a social life. I didn't really do much. And
it's all relative.
So I didn't do a whole bunch of things. Yes, I did do things with friends. We would have these, friends parties and things like that in college. Like I said, I pretty much just hung out in the dorm when the roommates went out. After college, I did venture out to some. I would go out to the clubs with friends, but I learned real fast because I wanted to keep my corporate job that going out on Thursday night and then try to go to work the next day was not something that I could do. I got tired real fast, and I retired from going out even once in a blue moon at 35 because I just couldn't even stay awake. But I'm going to let her have that I was just a social butterfly.
But see, that's because she chose the wrong career. She should have done what I did.
What's that?
I went to graduate school and I became a professor. And now my drinking is combined with my career.
With all the grading and the student stories, boy, there are definitely some student stories. So if you're watching this and you're a professor or a teacher, I'm quite sure you have your stories too.
This is the end of the semester. We're recording this right now, so it's a crazy time. But academics, nobody expects it, but we know how to have a little fun. We at least know how to pour a drink. I mean, there was a study that came out years ago that said that of people who develop drinking problems, academicians, we were like near the top of the list. I don't think I don't drink nearly enough, mostly out of laziness. Maybe once a couple of drinks a week or something like that, unless we're like out. Then I'll have more because, you got to finish the pitcher of sangria. You just can't just leave it there. But apparently drinking is a thing. So we have figured out how to combine a career with alcohol.
And it's true. During the pandemic, she really went out, because we weren't going to go out. We used to go to a restaurant that we love. They have the best sangria, not too far away from the house. And during the pandemic, everything shut down. And so she ends up buying not one, but 2 machines for alcohol.
I bought one. You bought me another one.
It was in her basket. On Amazon, and it has a wish. It was on my
wish list, but
so therefore 2.
I requested 2.
Yes.
I purchased one. You purchased one. Now I have 2 for somebody who drinks maybe a couple of drinks a week.
Exactly.
But at least I have variety. And this time of year, I need variety. This is because that's my I won't say it's my side gig. It's my main gig outside of what we do with working with some of you all in your dating and relationship stuff. And when I'm not working with y'all, I'm teaching psychology at the college level. Maybe that surprises you. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But you probably shouldn't be surprised. At least one of us is a psychologist. And she majored.
in
psychology.
I did, and that has a story to it too. Now, when I went to school, I got into the College of Engineering, right? Because I wanted to be an engineer. I won't go back far. If you ever want to know any other kind of things about us, make sure to put it in the comments, and we'll read those and see what else you may want to know. But the idea was go to college engineering. I learned real fast in my physics class that what I learned in physics in like a couple of weeks took a whole year in high school. And I said, you know what? This is not for me. And I got out of that. So then I changed my major to math, and I was doing the math. And then one Friday afternoon, it was beautiful. Now put it in your mind. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. The sky is blue, not a cloud in the sky. And there's students outside, and they're all headed home for the weekend. And I'm looking out the window, and this man has this stuff on the board. It was combinatorics was the name of the class.
Combinatorics?
Yes.
But combinations and permutations?
I think it was a form of algebra. But so look it up. But combinatorics. All I know was I checked out. And right after that class, I got on the bus or drove to the bursar's office or whatever, registrar's office. Office. And I dropped that class, and I changed my major to psychology, when I could have just had one class away from having a dual major in psych and math.
One good afternoon ruined a whole degree. I'm going to have you come talk to my students about how not to manage.
Hey, there's nothing like being young and dumb and being out of your parents' house. And all I was happy about was being in my parents' house. And they weren't allowed to, I didn't have to go to them and ask them if I can change or not. I just went and changed it.
It worked out. It worked out. We ended up, we're in this space now. Mm-hmm. In this marriage, in this relationship, in each other's families.
Right.
8 years of marriage, 12 years together.
Yep.
And things have unfolded nicely. And one of the things, we've spent time establishing our own careers and kind of discovering things that we like to do together. I think one of the main things that we really like to do that we've missed in this whole pandemic era is getting out into the world and traveling. We love to travel. Mm-hmm. I don't think we knew that we loved to travel when we first met. I think we enjoyed seeing new spaces, but we really hadn't really been.
Right. Here's how traveling worked for us before we met each other. Traveling for us, based on how we grew up. Growing up, going on vacation meant going down south.
Yep.
And going down south for me meant going to South Carolina or Georgia, because that's where my parents were from, right?
For me, it wasn't even leaving the state of Missouri. It was going to southern Missouri.
So that really was how we viewed or saw vacation. And maybe a little bit older, it meant maybe going with some friends. I've gone with some friends to Cancun, something that's probably not advisable right now, but going to Cancun with friends. Did a cruise, for example, to Alaska. If you've never done that cruise on Royal Caribbean, I highly recommend it. But that was it. And maybe
not just like going places, not a lot of going places for the sake of just going. You were going to go visit a relative, or you're going. It was like something specific. It wasn't like you picked a location and said, I've been interested and I want to just kind of go and experience it. And so that's kind of what travel has become for us.
Or another one, I just remember going with friends, going to Women's Week at P-Town, something like that. Which I still haven't brought her to that. But that was the extent of it. So we ended up by accident having this whole world travel thing.
I think it started with my friend lives in the U.S. Virgin Islands on St. Croix, and she invited us down, and this was our first trip off the mainland together. And we went down there, and that's a whole nother video. We'll have to tell y'all.
Yes, a whole other video.
And watch out for subscribe to our travel channel too.
Yes,
so
we'll put that in there.
Yeah, we'll put that down below what our travel channel is. So we'll start sharing some stuff there. But we went there and had some adventures in St. Croix, let's put it like that, and discovered, even through all the craziness, we kind of dig this, right? And we wanted more and more and more of it. So that's something that we really grown into together. Together, and really getting, one of my favorite things. So, what about yours, babe?
Yeah, no, definitely traveling. It has international travel. Let's be specific there.
International travel.
We've definitely taken a love for it. So the pandemic, put a little kibosh on that a little bit. Except for, this is the irony about this travel. When we took some vacations, before the pandemic, our last vacation was to Asia. So in January of 2020, we had gone on a vacation to Asia. Not having any clue, because there's nothing going on talking about anything about coronavirus. None of that.
Singapore, Thailand, and Japan.
Yes, that we went to. Now, interesting thing about this is on the way back home, we
stopped through Tokyo.
So we came in through Singapore into Tokyo airport, and this interesting thing, you walk up and you had to walk up to this machine, you put your head on it and took your temperature. And we're like, oh, well, that's interesting and new that they want to know what your temperature is. Whatever. So then went about the day to Japan, come on back home. 2 weeks later, coronavirus.
Right. So it had already started brewing, and we were right in Asia, had no clue, none. Zero. We get here, and then just all hell broke loose and continues to break loose. But, we're trying to we're getting back out there, dipping our toes a little bit. We did our first international trip a couple of months ago, went to Costa Rica for the first time. So trying to get back into the traveling as safely and smartly as we can. But let's just, we're going to stop taking up your time.
Right.
We really just wanted to, talk to you for a little bit, share a little bit more about ourselves. And you get a little bit of it in some of our other videos. But we really wanted to just kind of share outside of the bounds of the regular relationship stuff. Share a little bit of us. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. And
if you want more,
absolutely.
This is what you should do is put in the comments, what more do you want to learn about us?
Or if you have certain questions that you want to ask us.
And that too. Just put it in the comments and we'll look at those and we will get back.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.